have to talk about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, who are currently 7-8 on the year, and they sit in second place in the AFC North Division right behind the Steelers. And before I get into the future of Coach Harbaugh with this organization and the same with Lamar Jackson, I want to break down the playoff scenario with the Baltimore Ravens. They can still win this division, and they can still advance to the postseason. But it comes down to a couple of things here. The Steelers, they will take on the Cleveland Browns this upcoming week. They have to lose that game. If the Steelers defeat the Cleveland Browns, that will close the door on the Baltimore Ravens. They will win this division. They will clinch a playoff berth. But if the Steelers lose next week against Cleveland, it opens up that door for the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens will have to win out. They will face the Green Bay Packers this upcoming week, and they'll finish the season against the Steelers. And that's a tall task for this team. If you ask me right now, I believe that the Steelers will go out there next week. They'll defeat the Cleveland Browns, and the Baltimore Ravens will miss out on the postseason this year. They've dealt with a lot of injuries this season at the quarterback position with Lamar and with their defense as well. But it's more than just the injuries with this team. They haven't been the same since the 2023 AFC Championship game when they lost against Kansas City. They had the best defense in the NFL. They lost this game 17-10. They only ran the football 6 times with the running backs in this game. Lamar Jackson has some bad moments, don't get me wrong, but the play calling with Todd Monken was terrible. And Coach Harbaugh did not have the right game plan in that matchup against Kansas City. I know that their rushing defense was a top rushing defense at the time, but we saw the Baltimore Ravens in the regular season have a top rushing attack. That has been the case every single year since Lamar has been the starting quarterback with this organization. So you would think AFC Championship game, we're the home team. We have home field advantage. We have bulldozed through the AFC. This is our chance here to potentially get to the Super Bowl and bring back a championship to Baltimore. But you squandered the opportunity. And that offseason, something very important happened. Coach McDonald, great defensive coordinator. He leaves. He becomes the head coach with the Seahawks. They promote Zachary Orr to being defensive coordinator, and the defense was never the same. Now, you did go to the postseason last year. You defeated the Steelers. You ran them off the field, but your defense was still not good enough. You went against the Buffalo Bills. You had some good moments. You had some bad moments. But at the same time, your defense was atrocious in the regular season, especially for the first 12 weeks against the pass. On the back half of that season, you were better against the passing attack. You lost against the Buffalo Bills last year in that playoff game. And you could put a lot of blame on Mark Andrews. The 2-point conversion attempt was not successful. He had the football in his hands and he drops it. Wet game. He had ice on the ground. Doesn't matter. They needed you in that moment and he didn't step up. And Lamar, he has some passes that he'll like to have back and some moments. Has some bad moments in that game. But I look at it from this standpoint. Every single year has been disappointing ends with Coach Harbaugh as the head coach. I saw this stat last night when they lost against the Patriots, 28-24. They were up in this game. Since 2021, they have lost 11 games when leading by 7+ points in the fourth quarter. That's the most in a 5-year span in NFL history. And who has been the head coach for all of it? Coach Harbaugh. They can't close out games. Now, I want you guys to really listen to this. It's not all on him, but he does deserve majority of the blame. And when I say that it's not all on him, he cannot control interceptions, fumbles, and missed snaps. That's on the players. But the game management and lack thereof, not using timeouts, going for 2. It was one season. He just kept going for 2 on a repeated basis. It didn't make sense. That is when Coach Harbaugh has been at his worst. But when Derrick Henry's fumbling the football against the Buffalo Bills in week 1, that's not on Coach Harbaugh. When he fumbled the football in week 3 against the Detroit Lions, that's not on Coach Harbaugh. That is on Derrick Henry. You still had a chance to go out there and ice out the game. But that's not all on the coach. But regardless of the mistakes by the players here, Coach Harbaugh has underachieved with the Baltimore Ravens for many years, and it is time to move on. He's been here for 18 years. He's had some great moments with Baltimore. He won that Super Bowl in 2013. But look at how long ago that was. We're heading into 2026. You went to an AFC championship game in 2023. You should have won that game. And this is what I mean when I say as Super Bowl windows, they close very quickly in this league. Nothing is the same from year to year. We've seen many teams, one season, they're red hot. The next year, they may only win 8 to 9 games. This is a talented roster. But they have reached their ceiling with Coach Harbaugh as a head coach. It's time to move on. And the perfect head coach to take over would have been Coach McDonald, but he's no longer here. If you're wondering who the next head coach could be, Jesse Minter with the Los Angeles Chargers. He's their defensive coordinator. He's worked with the Baltimore Ravens in the past. He's a tremendous defensive mind. And the Ravens defense has been one of the worst defenses in the NFL over the last 2 years with Zachary Orr calling plays. Who hired him to call plays? Coach Harbaugh did. You bring in Jesse Minter, he will bring you that edge. He's a younger defensive mind. He can keep up with today's game, something that Coach Harbaugh cannot do on a consistent basis. So not using timeouts in crucial situations, going for 2, mismanaging games, not giving Derrick Henry the football late in the fourth quarter. For a majority of the fourth quarter, for that matter, that's a bad look on Todd Monken, and the same with Coach Harbaugh. Todd Monken has taken a lot of criticism, but as a head coach, you can tell your coordinators, I want a player in at this point in time in the game. Let's get Derrick Henry those carries. Let's get Lamar Jackson on the move. You can have input with those coordinators. You are still the head coach with the team. So even though Todd Monken deserves a lot of blame, have the same blame with Coach Harbaugh, who runs this entire organization. It's a tight ship. He runs it. And that's for every head coach. At the end of the day, when a unit is performing bad, you hired that coach, you help draft these players, that's on you. And this Ravens team, they don't have a bad roster. Lamar Jackson, when he's fully healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Now, this season, he hasn't been the best. But when he was fully healthy to open up the year, he looked very good. It's the reason why he's a 2-time league MVP. Going back to week 1, he did everything possible to win that game. Whenever you score 40 points in this league, that should be a guaranteed win. But you lost 41-40, another blown lead with Coach Harbaugh. That does come down to the fumble with Derrick Henry. But you still had chances to go out there and to score and to ice out this game. And you can say it's week 1. We'll find a way to get over it. And week 2, you perform better against the Cleveland Browns, but that's Cleveland. They're one of the worst teams. You went against the Detroit Lions. They ran all over this defense. With David Montgomery and the same with Jahmyr Gibbs, this is not what the standard is for the Baltimore Ravens, similar to the Steelers. Historically, they're known for having great defenses to stop the run and to stop the pass. And I know that the rules have changed. But you can still have the same mindset. We're going to beat up on the opposing team. We're going to be the bully. But instead, Detroit bullied them off the field. While Lamar Jackson had a very good game. 288 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He did get sacked 7 times. But wide receivers cannot get open. He is holding on to the football for a very long time in this game, but you can't put that loss on Lamar Jackson. He scored 30 points. You lost 38-30. Against Kansas City, he goes down with a hamstring injury. He hasn't been the same since then. And this is also another questionable decision with Coach Harbaugh here. When he goes down with that hamstring injury, you would think we have Tyler Huntley. This man is a Pro Bowler. Now, the Pro Bowl isn't what it used to be. In the 90s, early 2000s, even 2010s, the Pro Bowl, it meant a lot. Not anymore. He came in as a reserve, to my knowledge. But Tyler Huntley, similar quarterback to Lamar Jackson. He can move around, can make plays outside the pocket. He has that mobility. Instead of putting him into the game, you bring in Cooper Rush, prototypical quarterback. And Cooper Rush is not a good quarterback in this league, not even as a backup. He gets the football out quick. He's terrible against pressure. So what did Kansas City do? We're going to knock him off his spot. You didn't put Tyler Huntley in. You put in Cooper Rush. And they just sold out to stop the run. That was a terrible decision. You didn't even let Tyler Huntley start a game. After that, you put in Cooper Rush once again. And he was downright terrible. Then you put in Tyler Huntley as a starter against the Chicago Bears. And guess what happened? You won that game. But against the Houston Texans, Cooper Rush, 0 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions. You let him go out there, you let him finish out the game. Against the Los Angeles Rams, he was so bad, that's when you put in Tyler Huntley. And Tyler Huntley comes in, looked solid. He's not a franchise quarterback, but he's a solid backup. Why didn't you just put him in the first place? You've had success with Tyler Huntley before. This is not the first time in Lamar Jackson's career that he's went down with an injury. He's dealt with injuries before, and you would put in Tyler Huntley. You're losing crucial football games early in the year. You start off 1-5. That is a hard hole to crawl out of. And look at the situation that you're in right now. This team has Super Bowl aspirations coming into the year with the roster that they have. And with Lamar here, you go against the Miami Dolphins, looked very good in that game. He looked like an MVP. 4 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He wasn't able to move outside the pocket, but he didn't have to. Against the Minnesota Vikings, you won that game. But at the same time, your offense, it doesn't look the same. You can tell that Lamar Jackson is dealing with an injury. He's dealt with knee injuries this year, ankle injuries, hamstring injuries. He's missed a lot of practice. Not to make the excuse for him just looking bad at certain points in times this season, but we have to bring that up for full context. Compared to last year when he had a historically great season, 41 passing touchdowns to 4 interceptions. But you lose against the Cincinnati Bengals. That was a bad game for Lamar Jackson. But at the same time, Derrick Henry has more receiving yards than Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers had 2 catches in this game for 6 receiving yards, and he had a fumble. And that was a crucial loss for you. That's an in-division loss. You win that game against Cincinnati. Now you can work with something against the Steelers. Then you lose against the Steelers. We could talk about the play with Isaiah Likely. It should have been a touchdown. Catches the football, makes a football move. They take the touchdown away from him. But it's more than just that play. You know that it's bad when most Raven fans, they're not even complaining about that call anymore. You had so many opportunities to win the game, and you let it slip through your hands. That has been the case with Coach Harbaugh as a head coach. And yes, you defeat Cincinnati. You get your revenge. You win that game 24-0. But against the Patriots, you should have won this game. Lamar Jackson did go down with a back injury. But Tyler Huntley comes in. Once again, he looks solid. It just came down to Derrick Henry and his fumble early on. Mark Andrews and his fumble. I don't even know why Mark Andrews has a contract extension with this team. Did you not see what he did against the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs? That's a bad contract extension with this organization. That's a 3-year contract extension. Not to say that Mark Andrews is some type of scrub. He's not the same player. Since he came back from that injury, he hasn't been the top receiving tight end in football. You have Isaiah Likely for that. And it seems like they have iced out Isaiah Likely for Charlie Coker here. Kohler here, pardon me. They gave him majority of the targets in the game last night instead of Isaiah Likely. Now, I know that Isaiah Likely has been banged up this year, but looking at the injury report, he's fully healthy. And Isaiah Likely has been disappointing this season. But you go back to last year, that was a different case. It's just a mismanagement with this roster with Coach Harbaugh. A lot of things just don't make sense. And it's really starting to show its head right now with the injuries to Lamar Jackson. This team should not be in this situation with all the talent that they have. You brought in Derrick Henry to be that bell cow running back. And even though the fumbles have been a problem this year against the New England Patriots, he had 18 carries, 128 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. When you were up in this game, you didn't give him a single carry in the last 11 minutes for the remainder of the game. He's killing the Patriots, and yet you don't give him a single carry for the rest of the game. You go to Keaton Mitchell, of all running backs. And we can blame the offensive coordinator all we want. That's the game planning with Coach Harbaugh. And this offensive line, outside of Tyler Linderbaum at the center position and Ronnie Stanley at the left tackle position, you need a brand new offensive line. Andrew Voorhees, he's terrible. He flies on the radar a lot because Daniel Falele is the worst starting guard in football. I was going to say one of the worst starting guards. He is the worst starting guard. But Andrew Voorhees, he's right next to him. He's terrible as well. You have two terrible guards on this team. And once again, this is not the standard for the Ravens. I wonder how bad the backup guard, Emory Jones, is for him not to be able to at least start a game over Daniel Falele. Daniel Falele is all-time bad. He shouldn't be in the NFL, not even on the practice squad. He is too slow to work with defensive tackles. The speed is just not there. And the awareness isn't there either. They run so many stunts on him, and Lamar Jackson has no time inside the pocket. The Steelers rushed. It was a beautiful play. You have your edge rusher rush from the inside. He just didn't pick the guy up. So now Cameron Hayward and the other pass rusher, they're in the face of Lamar Jackson. And he just looks confused. So many plays in his career, he's facing Lamar Jackson. Why is your starting guard facing your quarterback? And this has been the case all year long. Hasn't benched him once. He continues to stick up for him. He's going down with his player. He's just lost the feel for the game. And back to the defense here. Zachary Orr, you could say that he was a very good linebackers coach. He's a former linebacker with the Ravens organization. As a defensive coordinator, I've seen enough. He's terrible. This is a defense. You have Kyle Hamilton, one of the best safeties in football. Nate Wiggins, tremendous cornerback this year. You have Roquan Smith, Kyle Van Noy, Trenton Simpson. Those are very good football players. I know that Marlon Humphrey, he's not the same player that he was 2-3 years ago. He's given up a lot of big plays. But at the same time, we've seen a lot of these players be in a similar system with Coach McDonald. They're phenomenal players. As soon as Zachary Orr comes in, they take a major step back. They have put so much stress on Kyle Hamilton. They had him close to the line of scrimmage last year, trying to get the communication down with the run game. So that worked out. The pass defense was terrible last year. They need him at single high safety to get the communication down. Usually that calms down with the coaching. But since Zachary Orr is so terrible, they're putting all that stress on Kyle Hamilton. This season, they made a trade to bring in Gilman. We need Gilman, veteran safety, to play over the top. He knows different looks. He can get this defense together on the back end. So that worked. Kyle Hamilton, get close to the line of scrimmage to guard those tight ends. You're a Swiss Army knife. We can put you at linebacker. We can put you at outside corner. But it's still not working. They have all this talent, and yet they still cannot stop the pass. They're 27th in passing defense. And the rushing defense has taken a major step back this season. All of it with Zachary Orr. The entire coaching staff needs to be gone. See if you can bring in Jesse Mentor. And if you move on from Coach Harbaugh, this would easily be the most desirable job for a head coach. You have Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Rashard Bateman, talented offense with those names on paper. And I know that Zay Flowers, he's getting a bad rep right now with the fumbles. He continues to dance around. I understand with Zay Flowers, they're not going to move on from him, even though he's had a lot of just head-scratching moments this season. And the same with Rashard Bateman. The contract extension that he has is not a cap killer for them. It's not going to hurt them long term. But he's dealt with so many injuries, especially in year 1 and year 2. They should probably move on from him. But the Mark Andrews situation, I'm just shaking my head. But whenever you have one of the most talented players at the quarterback position, any coach would be willing to leave the destination that they're at right now to jump ship and to coach up this team. It's a coaching issue. The injuries with Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton have definitely hurt. But even if they were fully healthy, we saw this in week 1, week 2, and week 3. They're just not good enough with Coach Harbaugh. They need a different voice in that locker room. If they moved on from him, he probably would get picked up immediately. He can help a bad team. He can take a bad team. He can make them a solid team in the NFL. I'm not saying that he can't. He just can't make this team great. That's the problem. And I said this a month ago. I'm going to say it again. I don't care that the Steelers have won the last 3 games. They need a new head coach as well. This entire division, they all need new head coaches. The Baltimore Ravens, the Steelers, the Cleveland Browns, and the same with the Cincinnati Bengals. Lord knows the Bengals, they've needed a new head coach for many years now. That doesn't get talked about enough. They need a new owner at that. Cincinnati's probably in the worst situation possible. And they have a franchise quarterback in Joe Burrow. Now, what I think the Ravens should do and what they will do are two different things. They should move on from Coach Harbaugh. Will they move on from him? No. I don't think that they will. It's the same situation with the Steelers. They look around the NFL and they look at certain franchises like the New York Jets, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Giants, and even the Cleveland Browns in this division. They've seen so many different head coaches come in, and they just can't win enough football games. With the Baltimore Ravens, they're used to winning 10 plus games in a year. The same with the Steelers. So they grow comfortable with these coaches. They don't want to move on. It's the reason why Coach Tomlin's been there for 19 years, why Coach Harbaugh has been here for 18 years. I'm not taking up for him. I'm not saying that that's definitely the right decision. But to move on from those coaches, you don't know what the hell that you're going to get. You may get a coach that's just terrible. Look at Brandon Staley with the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers thought that they were getting a very good head coach. Instead, they weren't. But sometimes you have to take chances. You have to take risks. You have to do something different. I don't see the Baltimore Ravens winning another Super Bowl with Harbaugh being the head coach, and the same with Mike Tomlin being the coach with the Steelers. You can add all the great players that you want to have on your roster, and they have that. They've retooled the roster for many years with him as a head coach. It's only so much that you can do until you fully realize we have reached our ceiling with this man. It's time to move on. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comment section below. How do you feel about this situation with the Baltimore Ravens? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.